Hola, welcome back. This is Ange.
This is Adrian.
Welcome to our motorcycle journey around Spain and Portugal. So we're here to see what more we can discover. So thanks for joining us and welcome back, and we'll see you on the road.
See you on the road.
Here we are in Logroño. Still not sure whether it's pronounced Logroño or Logroño because I've seen it written both ways. So anyway, we're here now. We made it here last night after another amazing day on the bike. So when we left El Pont de Suert, we went through this incredible valley, went down this amazing gorge, massive mountains all around us, and this really tight windy road, just absolutely brilliant. So that was a lot of fun riding through that.
Yeah.
Bit of roadworks along the way, had to stop and take in the scenery a bit longer, which was nice. And again, a whole bunch of tunnels that just carved their way through these incredible mountains.
Yes.
So that was a lot of fun. Once we got to the bottom of the ravine, we started our climb out, and it was somewhat fortunate that the day started out raining, so we had our wet weather gear on and we climbed up, and it got quite cold.
Yes.
So that sort of protected us, so that was good. And then we made it up to the top of the range and took a little detour off to a town called Torla Odessa. And this is the gateway to a bunch of the national parks in the area, right on the French border. So we found this awesome little cafe with a beautiful view over the valley, and we got to the front door and it was shut. So I was like, oh, bummer. So anyway, so that was all good. We jumped back on the bike then and decided to head on further down the road. And then we couldn't find anywhere to eat. Like, there was no towns that looked very good, and by this stage it was around about 2 o'clock, and we hadn't eaten all day yet, and Ange spotted a tiny little place hidden behind a bunch of trees on the main road. So we did a few U-turns and made it into this essentially a little bar.
It was like stepping back in time, wasn't it, to the 1980s?
Absolutely.
Vending machines for cigarettes and an old bubblegum machine with who knows how old the bubblegum was inside it.
Probably pretty fresh. But the atmosphere inside this place was incredible. It was just full of construction workers. There was lots of loud banter happening everywhere.
Yep.
Conversations happening between the bar staff, the wait staff, and the patrons there.
Yeah.
So we got shuffled into a little table for the two of us, and it was perfect because it was right in between the two rooms that were there.
Yes.
And we got sort of wind of all the conversations that were going on, and they spoke really, really quickly. I could barely understand anything they were saying, and this was a bit of a concern until the waiter who came up to us and went to serve us, because he put down the menu, which was just a handwritten menu for the day, and he spoke into Google Translate, and even Google Translate couldn't understand him. He was speaking that quickly, so that made us feel a little bit better.
Yeah.
So anyway, through lots of finger pointing and slower speaking, we were able to order some lunch, and some random stuff came out, and it ended up being such a good lunch.
It
was a 3-course set menu, and so they came out and served that amongst everything else, and just listening to what was going on in the room was incredible. It was so much fun.
And we were watching Wheel of Fortune in Spanish as well.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, and they have the variation of the sing-along inside the Wheel of Fortune. They have a live band playing, and everyone sings along and sways and does their thing. So that was great.
And the crowd goes, hole, 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 hole.
So that added to the vibe of the place. So then when we finished the meal there, I went up to pay the bill, and the waiter that was serving us, he told the person behind the bar that we were from Australia, and then he's like, are you from Brisbane? And we're like, yeah, and he goes, yeah. so we became best friends after that. So he was talking. So by the end of this, the whole bar and the whole restaurant knew that we were from Australia and we were riding around Spain. So it was a whole lot of fun, lots of loud banter and whatnot going on from there. So that was another amazing experience where we sort of had the warm embrace of the Spanish that have been so inviting and so welcoming for us, which has been awesome. So so that was a big highlight for yesterday as well. And then so we jumped on the bikes after all of that. That was probably, we were there for over an hour, well and truly. So
it was about like 3:30 in the afternoon by then, I think, when we were leaving, because it was a very late lunch.
It was. So that was all good. And then riding along, we had probably about 100 kilometres to go at that point.
Yep, to Logrono. Yep.
Yeah. And so about 40 kilometres before we reached Logrono, we decided to stop for a bit of a leg stretch, and Anne spotted another little village at the top of one of the hills, and it was called Villa Mayor de Monjardin. It's a tiny little town which is a stop for the Camino walkers. Yeah. And this beautiful old town which is set on top overlooking a vineyard which it looks like they're doing up. So that was beautiful. So we stopped up there, took a bunch of photos, and had a bit of a walk around the old town.
Yes, saw some Camino walkers as well.
We did. Yeah. So that was good. Got a bit of a vibe for that. So that was really nice, just to stop, stretch your legs, and go to the top of the hill, and have a look around over the valley where we'd just ridden through. And then we jumped back on the bike and headed into Logrono. Yes. And the place that Ange booked for us is in the middle of the old part of town.
Yes. And as soon as we arrived, we could tell there was something going on. There was just this vibe to the city, and people walking around everywhere, and balloons, and you could hear singing and music and... someone helped us find our apartment, didn't they? Or at least gave us a hand, didn't they?
Exactly, yeah. So we hadn't even turned the bike off. We'd pulled up out the front to where the accommodation is, where we are right now. And before even turning the bike off, a fella came out of one of the buildings next to us, and he's like, "What are you looking for?" All in Spanish, and he didn't speak any English at all. So I didn't have the address on me. I just was following the GPS to get here, and so just stopped to grab the booking sheet that has been so well prepared, and then he took me down one of the side streets. Much to Angie's concern, so I was there for quite some time.
You were. I was like, "Oh, have you been mugged?"
No, and then
a search party.
Not at all. No, we got taken down, and he was taking me to one of his friends, and they were in a tiny little doorway down one of these side streets. He took me in there where there was a whole bunch of people sitting around on big long tables, eating and drinking and carrying on. And he could speak English, so then he was asking where we're going to stay. So I just had the booking sheet on me. It had a phone number, and he's like, "Oh, let me help you. Let me show you where it is." And I'm like, "No, we're all good." So then he took the sheet and he made the phone call and tried to find out where the place was. And I'm like, because we hadn't had a chance to even look at the address, he was trying to help us out, and he was saying that he's a motorbike rider as well. They're all very friendly. So then, it was just, again, another great experience where the Spanish have shown how welcoming they are to us. So we found the place no dramas at all, and then came up here and then got out of our riding gear and then went into the town and
joined the festivities.
Exactly. It was just completely abuzz with activity.
So it's the Grape Harvest Festival.
That's right. Yep. So that's what I managed to get information from our new friend in the hall. So he told us what was going on. So this is the biggest festival of the area. So the area of Rioja here, big grape area. So they're celebrating that, and so there was marches of people going around the place.
Multiple marches.
Exactly, yeah, and this just went on for hours and hours and hours. So we walked the streets and had a look at all the different bars and whatnot. So we stopped at a tapas bar for a quick snack, and then
and we admired lots of murals on the walls as well.
Yeah, that's right.
Street art.
There's beautiful street art around the place. So we've got a few photos of them. We saw some open air choirs that were going on in this little auditorium. It was probably an open air stage that they had, which was pretty cool. Interesting singing. Yeah, and then we decided to have a proper meal and sat down at a bar, which again was absolutely packed. I don't know what, I think we sat down at about 10 o'clock or something at that point. And had a massive dinner, and the wait staff were just so friendly. Just everything wasn't a problem at all. There were people shouting orders across the courtyard, and the waiters are taking the orders and running inside and coming back out with food and drink, and lots of good atmosphere happening around the place.
Certainly was.
So another action-packed day for a long day on the bike, and then that sort of ended the day for us. So it was just another brilliant day in Spain. So definitely enjoying it all.
Looking forward to today's travels, which will be day 6 for us.
Yes, indeed. So, but one place that we're not heading to is a place down the road where they have, again, we're finding some strange facts about Spain. It's a 16th century festival that involves people having the people that have had children in the last 12 months, putting them out on the street on mattresses, and someone dresses up as the devil and runs around through the crowd, whipping the crowd, and while they hurl insults at him, and then his role is to then jump over the babies to cleanse them of their sin. So that's all important.
Yes, and then they're sprinkled with flowers.
Yes, indeed. So we didn't get to witness that.
No, it was in Burgos.
Yes, that's right. So just down the road. So not where we are now, but so that's all another one of the strange facts of Spain that we're coming across slowly.
Yes.
So Indeed. So then we'll load up the bike again and we'll head off, hit the road, and see what adventures today brings for us. So we'll see you all on the road again.
See you on the road.
So here we are on the start of our day 7, and yesterday, so we left Logrono yesterday morning, and we rode along. Our first stop was to Bilbao, so it was a long day on the kilometres front, so we didn't stop too many places, and we found it really blustery on the bike, so we pulled over, stopped, put our wet weather gear on, which worked out well because 10 minutes later we rode a storm, so that was all a bit of fun.
Yeah.
And then we made it to Bilbao, and Bilbao has the Guggenheim Museum.
Certainly does.
Yes.
Yeah.
So we walked around the Guggenheim, which is an incredible building. Lots of fun to have a look at, and weird and wonderful shapes from all different angles. And so that was opened in 1997.
Yes.
And it was 4 years from when it was designed to when it was finished being built.
Yeah, one of the few constructions of that size that's been delivered on time and in budget.
There we go. So it can be done. And so we spent a bit of time there and had some lunch in the town. It's a really pretty town though. It's a really nice mix of old and new buildings.
Yeah.
And nice easy cycleways, a tramway that runs through the centre of town. A place definitely worth a visit and a stop. So
there's some interesting sculptures too, particularly around the Guggenheim. There was the Mammon spider, the mother spider that was designed as well.
That's right. So it was Louise Bijou, I think it was. Ballou
right.
or someone. I can't remember how to say it. So that was out the front.
Yeah.
So that was good. And the big dog.
The puppy.
Yep, the big puppy made out of flowers, sitting out the front to guard the front entrance.
Yes.
Yes, and as all all buildings and all changes. That one has a few little controversial stories about it. With a couple of people from some extreme faction group dressed as gardeners.
Yeah.
Yes, they dressed as gardeners to try and plant a bomb at the front of the building.
Just before its inaugural opening.
Yes, indeed. So, and that was stopped by the local security, wasn't it?
Yes.
Yeah, so they stopped that, and that was all good.
Yeah, that's right. And there's also some embezzlement of funds that occurred too.
Oh, that's true. Yes, that was. So over a
decade about.
Yeah, 10-year period. One of the members of the board started embezzling funds over years. So well done him. So, so we stopped there for lunch, and then we got out of there again, back on the bike. Another windy ride when we headed off to where we are now, Santillana del Mar, which is where we stopped last night, and it's touted as one of Spain's
prettiest villages.
Yes.
Yeah,
indeed.
and it certainly is pretty.
Yeah, it is. It's a beautiful old city, which we inadvertently discovered as we did a lap of the building when our GPS took us all the way through the village where there was no other vehicles, and we ended up finding out that the hotel was at the very start of where we pulled into the town. So we did that, and after we arrived here, we went across to, there's some local caves.
The Altamira caves.
Yes, and there's paintings inside these caves which date back to...
The sort of, 18,000 BC. So yeah, a long time ago.
Indeed. Yeah, so the place shut at 8 o'clock and we got there at 25 past 7 or something. So we quickly darted through, had a look at the caves, saw the paintings, and then made our way back here for again we were quite hungry and tired at that point, so we stopped in and at a lovely little restaurant up the road, and the waiter there was very, very friendly, and he asked if we were from Australia, and then he asked if we surfed, and then he started to talk about Mick Fanning punching the shark. so that was very cool. So it was nice having a conversation with another one of the locals about Australia and what they do here, and he rattled off all the beaches that are just up here, and despite the name of the town here, it's Santillana del Mar, which means
by the sea.
Which we're not actually. We're actually a short drive from the sea.
Yeah.
Which is a little bit odd. So so that was where we are this evening. But another strange thing we did find out about this region, there's a festival that they hold called Ansa Eguna, Day of the Goose, where a greased dead goose is suspended from a rope, and the young men of the village try to jump up to rip its neck off.
From boats.
From a boat, yes. So, and the idea is to prove your strength and agility to win the favour of the local town women.
Yes.
So, show you're an ideal catch. So you do walk away with a dead greased goose if you do manage to rip its head off, which is amazing. What a prize. So that's another one of the strange traditions we found here in Spain. Indeed. So
looking forward to today, although it looks like it's going to be a wet one.
Yeah, so it's raining quite heavily outside at the moment. So we'll don our wet weather gear, load the bike up, and then see where the next one takes us. So today apparently is going to be a shorter distance but a longer day ride, so it sounds like it's going to be a nice twisty ride through the mountains. So we'll find that out as we head further northwest along the coast. We're sort of skirting the French border at the moment.
Yes.
And we will go from there. We'll see what adventures lie ahead today. So looking forward to it. See you soon.
See ya. Ciao.
welcome back. And here we are on the start of our day 8. So just looking back on yesterday, incredible riding yesterday. So we left our accommodation yesterday morning, and it was pouring with rain.
Certainly was.
So we were all rugged up and ready to roll. But then as soon as we left the coast, we crossed over the mountains, and then it turned out to be really, really nice. Very cold, but very nice. And then we pulled over in a little town called Unkera, which we stopped just to have a tea and a coffee, and mainly because I forgot to write down some notes for the recordings. That was the main reason for the stop. And then we finished that. That was a very nice little break, and then we bought some snacks from a little bakery, which we stored in the pannier for a while. And then from there we left there, and we're on the edge of the Picos de Europa, which is this incredible mountain range, which we rode through. So then the ride over the mountains was just spectacular. Yeah, exactly. So anyone who rides a motorcycle, you must go and do this road. It's just absolutely brilliant. Yes. Anyone who doesn't ride a motorcycle, please don't come. You'll just slow us all down. So, but definitely an incredible road. Fantastic road surface, really good grip, incredible scenery all over the place. Yeah. It was just every corner was a photo. It was just brilliant. And
stunning.
And hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of corners. So it was just absolutely brilliant.
And following rivers most of the time.
Yeah, exactly.
Beautiful.
So it was beautiful place to see. That's for sure.
Yeah.
Halfway through all of that, we stopped in a little town called La Venta for lunch.
Yes.
It was a really strange little place. Certainly a motorbike hub where lots of people came in, because I think there was 5 different roads that came into the place.
Yes.
And we found there was timber carvings of all these caricatures. I'll put a photo in so you can see what we're talking about. And we can't find anything about them, so we don't know why these characters
they were representing. Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah. They all seem to be pouring apple cider into glasses and cups, but there's more details which the photo will explain.
Yes.
Indeed. Apparently that town is known for the best ham in Spain.
Right. So not that we tried it.
Yes. For those of you who like your dead pig, place to come, apparently. So can't vouch for that one. But anyway. So then we jumped back on the bike again, and again, more incredible mountain riding through there, and we ended up stopping just on the side of the road somewhere with this just incredible view.
Yep.
Big drop off. Unfortunately, some of the video that I took didn't work out. But we stopped there, and it was just breathtaking the scenery there.
Pulled out our bakery snacks.
We did, yes. The stuff that we bought in Kera, we pulled out, and we had some way too much sugar. It was a very nice stop. Absolutely stunning. And then when we left there, we got out of the mountains and or still at the edge of the mountains really, and stopped in the new town of Riano.
Yes. Only built since 1987 and named the same as its old town. That was flooded in building the reservoir in that local area, along with 6 other villages and parts of 2 others. And we could see there was various things in the town to commemorate that flooding and the desecration it caused. At the time, I believe it made world news as people hung to the roofs of their houses in protest by the government deciding to flood all of their livestock land. It was a hub of livestock land of the area at the time, so a lot of people lost their source of income because of that decision to flood that local area. The town square where we stopped for tea and coffee had these pillars with the names of each of the towns that were flooded in that area. So it was quite a sad history to the place, but it was a beautiful little town.
It was, it was quite strange. It was obviously built relatively recently, and it was all sort of done in the older style. So it was a pretty town to visit, but it was quite strange to see, say, one of the old bell towers that was in the middle of the square, or one of the side squares, and all these new restaurants and whatnot, but right on the edge of the lake, which ended up not being used for its intended purpose.
No, I think it's meant to be used for hydropower, and they never used it for that.
So that's a bit of a sad one. But pretty town. Again, a lovely little ride.
Yes, and in the ride into Riano, I saw 2 European wildcats.
Ah, you did?
Yes.
Indeed. So you're saying what, about the size of a wombat or something?
Yeah, or bigger than that, I think. Yeah, they looked quite large.
There we go. I missed that. Sorry, keeping an eye on the road. But anyway, we saw the wildcats there. So so then we wound our way just it was about 15 minutes out of Riano, and into where we are tonight. Well, it was called the town of Las Salas, was the booking, but we had a bit of trouble finding the place because it was actually out of town, and so we found this little place which is very, very motorcycle friendly. We had pulled up in the street out the front, and these 2 electric gates opened like we're entering the kingdom. We were sort of ushered into the courtyard. And then they had parking spaces for all the motorcycles. They had pit ramps for those who wanted to rack their bikes up that way. They had a big workbench on the side, all flags for each one of the motorcycle brands and whatnot. So great little place run by a Russian lady, and very, very welcoming for the motorcyclists. And again, we've got the mountains right behind us, which is absolutely stunning. So we've been very lucky yet again, and it looks like a nice, beautiful, clear start to the day today.
Yes.
But it's very, very cold out at the moment. I think we might just be nudging into double digits. But we'll see how we go. We'll rug up, we'll hit the road, and we'll see where we get to next.
As we cross the border.
Indeed, that's right. Heading into Portugal. All right, see you soon. day 9. We've made it here into Portugal. So yesterday we arrived here in Portugal, which was fantastic. So it was a very chilly start to the day yesterday. It was 6 degrees when we jumped on the bike when we left, and our very gracious host, she was very kind and opened the doors to the courtyard for us with the remote. So the double gates opened up, so we had a grand exit as well, and she was across the road with a little stop-go sign stopping the traffic to allow the motorbike to come out and cross the road safely. So that was really sweet of her. So that was a really nice day there, actually. So there was a group of motorcyclists that were there last night too. Sorry, the night before last, sorry. And so then we made our way out of that tiny little village, and we snaked our way along the river again, out of the edge of the Picos. We've got some bells chiming in the background now. And we made it out of there and followed along the river and through tiny little towns. One of us was Jimenez, and another one called Santa Olaja de la Varga, so excuse the pronunciations, where we did a little bit of filming along there. So that was a beautiful little spot along the river. Took our little detour that we did. So that was pretty stunning, that was.
It certainly was.
So a nice way to start the morning with the sun just creeping up over the mountains there. So we had some really nice shots there. So hopefully those videos will turn out we can put onto this. And then we decided, the route that we had in the GPS just was on the freeways, so we decided to pull over, readjust where we were going, and jumped onto the N625, I think it was, that was along the river, and then we jumped off the auto, and something they called. And then off them into the more scenic routes. So we had a quick fuel stop. We had full service, so that seems to be quite common here, where they do filling up and everything for you, which is nice.
It was very nice.
And
then we found a place to have lunch.
We did, yes. So we stopped in Benavente for lunch. Which was a really strange town, I thought, because you drive right in, and it felt really industrial and not really inviting. But the main road, it was 2 lanes in either direction with a big centre section where they had seating and whatnot. And we're not sure whether it was just a Sunday thing, but there was only maybe 3 or 4 places open on that whole stretch, which was covered with restaurants and everything else. And we ended up not finding anything to eat there, so quick look on the GPS, which had the good old knife and fork symbol, and it led us up into the old part of town, which was really pretty.
It was really pretty, and there was a lot more people around in that section.
Indeed. So so we stopped and found a nice little place there where we managed to get some lunch and sit outside, so that was that was a nice way to stop for lunch.
Yes.
And then from there, it was the menu was like a comic book theme, so they had Popeye and Asterix and Obelix and
Dora.
That's right. So it was quite a strange menu. But anyway, we managed to find some good food and eat some more again.
Yep.
And then we jumped on the bike again and headed off the main road and through into Portugal. So we crossed a bridge, got the sign into Portugal, and rode along this absolutely beautiful road. It was stunning. Another one for the motorcyclists, the N122. So that's one to definitely keep an eye out for if you're ever on a motorbike along here. And it was just snaking through the edge of a mountain through some farmland, and it was just absolutely stunning.
Yeah.
So that was really pretty. That was. So it starts off with I think 2 or 3 switchbacks which went over a couple of bridges and whatnot. So that was a nice little entrance to the road.
Yep.
And then we came across. We decided to fill up and then came across this service station, which was interesting.
It certainly was.
Yes. So again, full service, which was good.
Mm-hmm.
And then we walked inside to pay. And first of all, we saw out on the outside there they had some local produce. They had some local almonds.
And figs.
And some figs. Yeah, some locally grown figs there, just in bags. So we thought, let's just grab a bag of these, of the figs. So we did that and then went inside, and that was an eye-opener.
It certainly was.
So you walk in, the first thing you see is you get a range of chainsaws that you can pick up at the service station. Mm-hmm. And then when you go past the serving bar, I suppose, which had a whole bunch of pastries in it, so you could have your pastries there, you could order a beer there, you could have a coffee there.
Yes.
You could buy a gun there. So they had a full gum cabinet which was covered in guns.
Yes. They had the big legs of ham hanging all above the bar as well.
That's right. Yep. So lots of dead legs hanging all over the bar, which was interesting.
Yeah.
And then tucked in the corner were some pokies.
Yes.
So it made Bunnings and your local Ampol foodery look very amateur hour. So this place had everything. So it was bizarre. And then Ange tried to be engaged in a conversation
with unfortunately there was the language barrier, but a family were there in their little combi van, and the grandma had sort of purchased a water pistol of all things, and she was pretending to shoot me with it. It's like, oh, okay.
Yes.
Yeah.
So that was an interesting stop. That was.
It certainly was.
Yeah. So it had everything. So. So after that we had our entertainment for the afternoon, jumped back on the bike again, and then again on this incredible road, and then again corner after corner was just stunning, brilliant road surface, great corners, all on canvas stuff. It was just so much fun to ride.
Yeah.
And then we pulled up just on a random point on the road, with another beautiful view where we enjoyed our figs, and we actually bought some pastry there at the service station too. We had our afternoon snack of Spanish figs and pastries in Portugal.
Yes.
So that was really pretty. That was. So hopefully again the footage worked out from that. So from there, and that was only 30 something kilometres from where we are now, from Braganca. So we made it into town here. I don't even know what time it was. It wasn't too late.
No.
And
5:30.
Yeah, exactly. So it was because there's the hour difference as well between Spain and Portugal.
Yeah.
And we had an interesting time trying to find the accommodation here. So the GPS just kept on taking us round and round and round in circles, different streets, but we ended up finding the place, getting in here, and we are right next to the castle, which is the main feature of the town.
Yeah.
So of course we did a bit of a wander around town and walked around and through the castle, along the castle wall. Yes. That was really pretty. And then the the interesting thing was trying to get some dinner for the night.
Yes, it certainly was.
So again, we don't know whether it was us
being
starting
here on a Sunday as well, or the time of day, whether it was too early and a lot of the restaurants hadn't opened yet, because it was about 7 o'clock around when we were first looking.
That's right.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that might have been too early for them, because dinner normally starts sort of 8 to 9 p.m. And then goes on through till about 11ish. But we ended up finding this really nice place. And we found them speaking very, very good English, all the wait staff and everyone in the restaurant.
Yeah.
And again, had a really nice meal last night, so that was beautiful. That was.
Yeah.
And then we sort of tried to roll ourselves out of the restaurant and then back up the hill to our accommodation here, which is really stunning. It's like a self-accommodated apartment, and we've got our own private courtyard, which we're sitting outside in at the moment.
Yeah.
And looks like another stunning day out for us today on the bike. So much warmer than yesterday's start, which is good.
Absolutely.
So we'll see where today takes us. So we'll discover more of Portugal.
Yes.
So definitely looking forward to this, and we'll see what today brings for us. Yeah. So anyway, I hope you're enjoying this, and we'll see you next time.